I want to finish up with a story, selfish story, sports story, because, for me, I love watching you on ESPN. Yeah. I thought you were fantastic on First Take.
Thank you.
And I thought you made it more exciting. Like, I liked watching you being on there and the fights and all the stuff that was going on. It was you, him, and who was not Skip, but Max Kellerman. I thought it was a great combo, right? ESPN made a massive mistake not allowing some conservatives to be there to give their argument. Massive mistake. All of a sudden, I started seeing certain guys disappear. What the hell is going on over here? Why is it only this? But there's a number that came up that I want to talk about. World Series, right there, Rob, if you want to go to it. So World Series drew larger audience in Japan than NBA Finals did in U.S. this year, okay? The 2024 World Series, Dodgers-Yankees, average 12.1 million viewers in Japan, surpassing 11.3 million average viewers in the U.S. For NBA Finals, in Game 5, U.S. drew an average of 18.6 million viewers across Fox platforms, okay? Making it the most watched Game 5 on Fox since 2017. Globally, the World Series averaged over 30 million viewers across North America and Asia. In the U.S., the series averaged 15.8 viewers per game, the highest since 2017. Game 5 numbers representing a 58% increase from last year. Rangers Diamondbacks. Viewership peaked between 11:15 to 11:30 as the Dodgers clinched the whole thing, right? Now, as a guy who's a Yankee guy, I watched this, and I saw the stat here. 2024 World Series, 15.8 million. 2024 NBA Finals, 11.3. Shaq yesterday is giving his commentary on it. They're saying they believe the three-pointer has destroyed the game. Shaq's blaming Steph Curry and all these other guys. Yesterday, I don't know if you saw or not, James Harden just passed Ray Allen. He's now second place. Steph Curry sitting at first place. He's got 1,000 more three-pointers than James Harden. But yesterday, they're playing against each other, and it was a moment that Steph Curry and the two shared together. Why do you think the NBA product is as shitty as it is today?
Let's start with what's so good about the Major League Baseball and the World Series.
Yeah.
It's obvious but needs to be stated. You had two effects taking place. One, the two biggest markets in the United States squaring off for the World Series, L.A. and New York. Second, the biggest global superstar in that sport, and that explains the ratings in Japan, Shohei Ohtani for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
For sure.
On the NBA side, the thing about NBA, and this took place while I was at ESPN, there's a wishful thinkingness to the NBA. For years, I would appear on First Take and debate people about when the NBA was going to surpass the NFL. There was people that, with a serious and straight face, made the argument that it was on the path and would soon have bigger ratings than the NFL, which is an absolute joke of a take. It's not even in the same stratosphere as the NFL. And that's honestly, Pat, because of cultural issues, wish casting the NBA into popularity. I love the NBA. I love all sports. By the way, my teams were in both of those finals. A year ago, the Texas Rangers, and this year, the Dallas Mavericks. But the NBA is a niche sport compared to the NFL, and their lean into culture and Black Lives Matter, I truly do believe, hurts that product, and it will continue to hurt that product. I think that's much more to blame than the three-pointer. I actually think that's an entertaining aspect to the game. I think Steph Curry is not just a superstar, but he's revolutionized basketball in a way that will go down in the history books. And by the way, it's not just basketball. He's like soccer. The idea of managing space and off-ball movement is the revolution in sports, and the NFL, by the way, spreading out defenses. So I don't agree with Shaq. I think the NBA's problem is, A, it was never as big as everybody wanted it to be, and B, it picked one side of the aisle. It said, we want to be here for this, what turns out to be not 50% of America, but about 40% of America.
Yep, and you nailed it. Well, when you have somebody, the face of the NBA, which is LeBron James, I mean, let's just face it. When you have that guy, uneducated, and you tell Google every time he has a book in his hand, it's always on the first page as if he's gonna read the whole thing. The most divisive, race baiting, bitter, anything that something happens negative, he always has to go to the race, and it's unattractive. People don't want to watch that. People go to sports, Will, as you know, to escape from everything. When I do stand-up, when I do comedy, when we do our sketches, that is for people to get away from everything and laugh and enjoy. When I'm at a basketball game and I'm watching the main guy on there that is just the most divisive guy that in what sport? Name one other person that's like him that anything something comes up, he's talking crap about cops. He what was that tweet that he did, Rob, where he kind of he wanted people to go after the actual cop that legally shot, I forgot her name, Brianne or something like that.
McKay Bryant.
McKay Bryant. He deleted this tweet.
She's stabbing another girl.
Yeah, he was posting about the officer, basically not threatening him, but the guy did his job. A girl took a knife and tried to stab a girl, and he shot it. I think this is one of the main reasons, Pat, that people don't want to watch the NBA.
One more thing, Pat. This goes back to what you were talking about media, and then I think it was underneath the surface of us talking about Ben Affleck. The NFL created a product that's incredibly unique. It's not star-driven. It's laundry-driven. You root. I think you might be a Dolphins fan, but you're going to root for the Dolphins. Yes, you may vacillate if Tua is the quarterback or not, but it's not really about the guy. I root for the Cowboys and the Longhorns, and they change players every 3-4 years, and it doesn't change. The NBA, and to some extent Major League Baseball, are star-driven enterprises. You need to have the star. Maybe they need to check off the checklist you rattled off earlier, Pat, like likability. But the NBA saw Jordan peak. That was it. It was driven by one man. You couldn't have paid him enough money. Honestly, I agree with you about LeBron, but it's been driven now for 2 decades by LeBron. The NBA Finals, I love him. I love Luka Doncic. I like Jason Tatum. Not a star on the same level as Jordan and LeBron. And if you have a league predicated upon stars, you don't have your star in the final, that hurts your product.
By the way, let me just read this quote that he says, and Tom, I'll come to you. This is what Shaq said. He was asked, what's the reason why NBA's had it hit? He says, for me, the three-point shot is the single worst thing to happen to the basketball in my lifetime. And let's back it up with a little bit of history. The ABA did not introduce the three-point shot. The ABA absorbed the three-point shot. The three-point shot, as we know it, is a gimmick of a promoter. I would repeat that, folks. It was not asked for by anybody in the NBA. It was the gimmick of a promoter. That man being Abe Saperstein, the impresario of Harlem Globetrotters, who founded a league in 1961, called the ABA, he hoped would be in opposition to the NBA. That league lasted a year and a half. It folded in the second year, but he got a three-point shot because he needed a gimmick, and then the NBA took it. I've long said that there will probably be a 4-point shot in my lifetime, and the three isn't going anywhere, and that's the game here. What it does is it distorted the game at every level. Tom, your thoughts on this here?
We're also talking about, let's talk about one thing about baseball. You're talking about the country, Japan, that has an amazing love affair with baseball. They have such enthusiasm for it. And it has long been a place where great Japanese players come to the MLB and make big salaries, and a journeyman at 33 can go play in Japanese baseball, or an exiled one. Trevor Bauer went there, was beloved. And you look at what was going on. They loved him. They loved his antics. They loved the sword. But also you have to remember, beyond Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who came to the Dodgers, is only 26, but he was the 3-time Cy Young Award winner, their equivalent of the Cy Young in Japan. Hideo Nomo had come to the Dodgers long ago. Yu Darvish is with the San Diego Padres. There is a love affair with baseball, but more importantly, the acceptance of Major League Baseball that has had this exchange system where, your younger, incredible players can come to an amazing high-wattage stage in Major League Baseball in the U.S. and make bank, as we've seen, and also American players go over there. When I was growing up, there's a guy named Warren Cromartie. Oh. Warren Cromartie, the Hawk. Yeah. And he went over to Japan and had resurrected his career for the last 4 years. And he hit these blistering shots over there off the junk ball pitchers. And they loved it. And it was beloved. So you're also talking about Japan that has had this natural love affair with American baseball. And this was like a triple word score for them. The Dodgers, the Yankees, Shohei Ohtani first, but don't discount the love they have for Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who many of them were very sad to see him come to the America. Oh, couldn't he stayed here for a couple more years? But we know he came to the Dodgers and make bank. So there is that beyond all the stuff that's going on.
You look up the Hawk, Rob. That's who I thought of, Andre Dawson. I don't know this Warren Cromartie guy.
I know, Andre Dawson. Look at that guy. Man. Look at that stash.
Yeah, I mean, look, to me, a part of it is the NBA All-Star Game sucks, but most sports All-Star Game typically sucks. Baseball is cool with the, home run derby. They change it up a little bit. It's still exciting. But the NBA All-Star, they did it good a few years ago when they had the, fourth quarter was the best defense I've ever seen in my career, being played by superstars on both ends. It was like whoever gets to 157 first. Freaking love that fourth quarter. I think it was 6 years ago. Giannis was against LeBron, maybe 5 years ago. It was fantastic. But I think today's product is boring. I think players on the season don't play. The way the other day, who's the center from 76ers? What's his name?
Embiid.
The Embiid. It's like, he wants to play every other game, and I don't want to play. it's such a player-driven league today that it's no longer a fan-driven league, and the fans are simply not interested. I don't watch it anymore. By the way, I was an obsessed NBA guy. I could care less about the NBA. In the finals, I like Luka. I like how he plays. He's an exciting player to me. Boston Celtics, super boring team. They're like the Spurs. If you look at the Spurs in the finals, they never got ratings.
All layups and
they were super boring. The only ones that they got ratings because they played against LeBron or something like that. Ray Allen, that whole team that they had that was exciting. My team, before I wrap up, was the Bills when I first came to the States in 1990. I like Thurman Thomas. I like BB. I like Bryce
Not
Pop.
Dolphins.
I like
Bills.
Warren Sapp. Then I became a Dallas fan, Cowboys. But today, if I tell you who I like today, in our family, we root for one guy in the NFL today, and his name is Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow is number one in yards, number one in touchdowns, number one in touchdown interception ratio. Jamar Chase, number one in yards, number one in touchdowns.
And still can't win.
And they still can't win at 4-7. They can't. The guy missed 2 field goals yesterday. Jamar Chase called his ass out. Jamar's probably not going to be coming back. I don't know how good of a locker room player he is.
You're not an NBA guy. You're a Heat guy, though? I
was a Laker fan till the day LeBron showed up. A diehard Laker fan.
But I know you're Yankees.
Oh, I am Yankees. I'm all day Yankees. Yeah, for sure. I'm all day Yankees. If the Dodgers play anybody else, I'll root for Dodgers, except if you root for Yankees. If you play against the Yankees, you play against the Yankees, I'm going Yankees. In 2020, I'll never forget, we're doing our podcast. We had 47,000 viewers. Concurrent viewers, we had 6,700. We're at the office. We leave. I go home the next day. News comes out. Biden's probably going to be the president. Of course, it takes a few weeks. Everybody around me is panicking. What's going to happen? COVID, Biden, what are we going to do? We step back. We put a plan together. And the last 4 years have been the most ridiculous 4 years of our lives because we sequenced everything out. 15 moves, business, personal life, finances, all of it. Now that Trump's president, that same strategy that worked in 2020 should be different than the one we have in 2024. Tonight at 6 o'clock, I'm hosting a webinar called the No Matter What webinar. Tom and I will be sharing with you guys what we're planning on doing the next 4 years and some of the strategies that you ought to consider doing as well for yourself the next 4 years, especially when we're coming down to business planning season. Right now it's November 19th. January 1st is going to be here like in the next 6 weeks. And those of you guys that got big plans in 2025, planning starts now. Go to vtwebinar.com, vtwebinar.com. Put it in your calendar. It's only 5,000 people that can be on. We don't have it more than 5,000 people. We'll start at 6 o'clock. I'll give a PowerPoint presentation to you guys, and then we'll go from there. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.